port of Dover on the southeast coast of England is just 21 miles from Calais in France, the gateway into Europe. Over 6,000 lorries cross the English Channel every day, and with 18 million passengers making the journey each year, it's the busiest stretch of water in the world. But not all of the passengers crossing the Channel are welcome. Round the clock, the UK Border Agency has a presence at the port of Calais in France.
Good boy. Up here, mate, up here. Good boy, in this one.
With the aid of sniffer dogs, officers operate in force to protect the UK borders from clandestines, immigrants who attempt to enter the UK illegally.
The dog is trained to search for human scent. So a primary role at the northern ports of France is to search for illegal immigrants who smuggle themselves in lorries and other vehicles in order to get to the UK. And the dog is body detection dog is one of the best technologies that we have.
In the past 12 months, officers searched more than 1 million freight vehicles and found over 29,000 immigrants attempting to come into the UK. Tonight, sniffer dog Fergus and Officer Matt are searching a lorry bound for Dover. Fergus is starting to show signs he can smell human presence.
Is this an indication, did you say?
Kind of. It's more of a disturbance indication, which means either the driver or one of our staff has checked the vehicle and there's some form of human scent still around there. Weights. Which one go find?
This time, nobody is found.
Ready? It wasn't an overly strong indication, but it was worth a look.
Officer Alex has continued the search of freight vehicles using sniffer dog wax. And it doesn't take long before wax makes one of his trademark indications.
We're going to get the camera in here because he's indicating.
Wax's highly sensitive nose appears to have made a positive indication for human presence just above the lorry's wheel arches. At Gatwick Airport, a flight has just arrived from Portugal. Officers are monitoring passengers disembarking the flight and looking out for any signs of suspicious behaviour.
Thank you.
One lone male passenger is of particular interest, as it's been noticed from his luggage tags that he started his journey outside of the EU.
As far as I'm aware, he's a gentleman that's come up from Venezuela via Portugal. He's just been away for a week. I think he's got a sort of last-minute ticket, only booked the day before.
The man says he's a minister who also works and raises funds for an American charity with a base in Venezuela.
They've got projects and they need funding and things like that, you know. I used to be a professional bike rider.
His short visit to South America causes concern, with Venezuela known as a country with links to the international drugs trade.
So when are you next going to be in contact with these people?
A couple of hours. I've already spoken to them on the phone.
Okay.
As Officer Tori continues to search the man's possessions, her colleague Gary comes across to swab test his suitcase for any traces of Class A drugs. And Gary's face says it all. The swab shows a positive reading for cocaine.
That's gone red, so there might be some form of traces of coke.
He relays the information to Tori.
Well, when I booked in, there was a
positive hits from there of coke.
There was a search at Crackers upstairs before.
Just wait there, I'm just going to X-ray this one. Gary says that he's got a slight hit of coke, so I took a rub down, like, let's see if I can get one of them done.
The X-ray of the suitcase is clear. But with traces for cocaine, Tori wants to take her investigation to the next level.
I'm going to start putting things in there. I'm just going to go and speak to my boss. I'll be back in a second. He's got no work ID on him at all. He's got a bit of an earmarked Bible, but other than that...
So I'd find it weird if you're registered, like working for a registered charity, you wouldn't have any sort of charitable ID if you've been on a charity
he's got
trip.
Tons of stuff on his laptop.
The news is broken to the passenger.
When we were doing I was doing the baggage search earlier, one of my colleagues, you may have saw him rub a small piece of, that's what we call an iron track machine, and it's given us a small trace or a small hit of cocaine from the inside of your bag. So I've spoken to my boss and she's authorised like a security search. It's just like a rub down, like a pat down. Okay, so if you can follow me, please.
The man is led away to find out if he's hiding any packages. Back in Calais, Officer Alex and sniffer dog Wax have found something of interest within the wheel arches of a lorry bound for the UK. Wax indicates to Alex to investigate further.
Good boy. Good lad. Good boy. We've got at least one clandestine on top of the pannier. So you've got a box that holds pallets, wooden pallets for loading. And there's a gap in between the top of the metal box that holds the pallets and the actual trailer itself. So they're just laying on top of the pannier. Good boy. And what I'll do now is I'll get the dog out of the way and the guys can take a look.
Alex is delighted with Wax's find. The driver of the lorry, less so.
Okay, driver, you stay there. Okay, yeah.
For every clandestine found in his lorry, the driver and his company face a fine of up to £2,000.
Come on, they come. Come on. 1, 2, 3. Count 4 pairs of shoes here. Okay.
Right, we've called for assistance from the office and we'll have someone come down to help us get them off the vehicle, and we'll keep them contained until the French police come down.
5 people are eventually found hiding underneath the lorry. It's a significant find, but for Wax, it's all a big game.
Dog's happy. He's got his tennis ball, which is what he does it for.
The clandestines are lined up as they wait for the French authorities to come and process them. For some of them, this was their 3rd attempt at getting into the UK.
The French police have taken them away to the station in the port here. They will process them and then they'll possibly interview them to ascertain whether they can be removed from France back to their country of origin.
It's been another successful night all round, due in no small part to sniffer dog Wax. In Gatwick, the British minister whose suitcase has given a positive swab reading for cocaine has been taken for a body rub-down.
When he's saying that the charity he works for have paid for his trip, but he didn't like it there really. It's very vague about what he's actually doing. It's just charity work. What?
No drugs are found on his body, so his shoes are taken away for further swab tests. And with another positive reading for cocaine, the plot thickens.
There's basically a few inconsistencies with what's happened here, and that is the fact that he said he's a charity worker, he's worked for a charity for a long time, but he has no actual charity ID. Also, he said he had a lot of stuff on the computer which was related to the charity, but he now can't find it. The man who bought his ticket, he had said, was arranged by the charity. We now discovered that the man who bought the ticket is his friend who's meeting him outside. It's nothing to do with the charity at all.
With all of this in mind, officers decide to put the passenger through an X-ray. The positive drug hit from his shoes may suggest he's smuggling packages inside his body. However, his calm demeanour and full cooperation belies that of a drug smuggler. Passengers who've swallowed drugs will be arrested and detained for their own safety until all the packages safely come out.
If you just follow the officer again, you can take your bits there.
This time, however, it looks like the man has not swallowed any drugs.
I think this is all a bit too dense.
This is hip bone, isn't it? That's your new hip replacement.
Oh, that is, yeah. But I mean all this.
With the last roll of the dice, Officer Kerry sends a team outside the airport to try and locate the person waiting to collect the passenger.
Yeah, we've sent 2 officers out to look for the guy that is supposed to be meeting Mr. But as yet, no one has showed themselves. They've not turned up to a call for his name or even the call for the meter's name. So we've just been given it a couple of minutes. If we hear nothing from it, I think at this stage, because of what we have, or rather what we don't have, we're probably going to have to let him go and just always be wandering, perhaps.
Just down the end there. Thanks for your time.
No one is found outside the airport. After a thorough search, the man is free to go. The hits for drugs are put down to contamination. Coming up, paramedics are called to attend a suspected drug swallower.
She said she's been vomiting the whole flight. She told the crew she'd been given something to swallow to bring back to the UK.
Coming up, an X-ray on a female passenger lends support to officers' suspicions.
There's a possibility that she might have a package inside her bra.
At Gatwick Airport, passengers have just arrived from Kingston in Jamaica. The UK Border Agency has just been alerted to a medical emergency on board the flight, and Officer Chris is sent to investigate.
We're just rushing up to gate 59 now. We've received a call from the inbound Kingston flight that the lady on the flight has been vomiting and has collapsed. I've already spoken to the crew. She's travelling with 3 children, and she said she's been vomiting the whole flight. So they said they were going to call the paramedics, and she told the crew she was very worried because she'd been given something to swallow to bring back to the UK.
With a suspected drug swallower on their hands, paramedics are dispatched to the aircraft along with border agency officers who process the woman's arrival.
Depending on the woman's condition, she may go straight to hospital. If that's the case, officers will go with her in the ambulance. If not, she'll be processed here locally by Gatwick staff.
We're taking the kids, expecting the kids.
Yep.
I'm not sure where their passports are, but apparently
we'll look after the passports. Yeah. We'll go with you.
Boys, yeah?
As the sick woman is attended to by paramedics, provisions are made for her children.
Children have just been taken through the controls, through passport controls and customs controls, and they'll be reunited or united with their grandmother. The lady, the mother, she'll surely be taken to East Surrey Hospital, along with 2 detection officers as well, and they'll stay with her for the time being.
The woman's health continues to deteriorate, so paramedics must rush her to hospital to assess whether or not she has packages inside her. If she has swallowed drugs, one burst package would take just minutes to cause almost certain death.
The lady's just been loaded into the ambulance. She'll be taken to local hospital. One of our female officers will go with her, and other officers will join her as well at the hospital. When she gets there, she'll be examined by the doctors to see what, if anything, she's got inside her. She's saying that she's a couple of months pregnant, which is, it's not an unfamiliar thing. We see pregnant women on occasion do swallow packages of drugs or have drugs inside them as well. And they think if they say they're pregnant, it will stop us looking further. She's been vomiting for several hours now, and it's not an uncommon reaction with people who have swallowed packages. It's just their stomach is having an adverse reaction to anything up to 1 kilo of foreign packages inside their body.
The woman is escorted to hospital by border agency officers who will monitor whether she passes any packages. Across at Gatwick's North Terminal, officers are busy processing passengers entering the country. A flight has just arrived from Trinidad and Tobago, and passengers disembarking the flight are being assessed by drugs detection dog Lottie and Officer Claire. Documents are checked at immigration, and passengers are questioned about the purpose of their visit to the UK. One passenger's story in particular has caused concern. A lone female has given a number of suspicious reasons for entering the UK.
Right, okay, we're going to go in here now, okay, have a look at your luggage, okay. First of all, I have to ask you if you've got anything to declare to customs.
No.
Any alcohol, tobacco,
no.
Cigarettes?
Nothing like
and
that.
Do you understand it's illegal to bring some things here?
Yeah.
Like controlled drugs, offensive weapons? You understand that?
Yes.
Got nothing like that?
Nothing like that.
Okay.
The woman told immigration she's planning to visit her fiancé before travelling to France. But alarm bells started ringing when it emerged she had just $60 to fund her entire trip.
And is this all of your luggage?
Yeah, that's fine.
Did you pack it all yourself?
My mom.
Your mum?
Yeah, helped me.
Were you there when she packed it?
I was in the bedroom. I was in the bedroom getting ready.
Do you fully understand what's in the suitcases?
Yes, I
yeah?
have my...
Okay. Has anybody in Trinidad given you anything to bring here for them?
No.
And your friend is meeting you here?
Yes.
Yeah, okay. When did you meet him?
I met him last year.
Okay.
He asked me if I would like to come visit, so...
The woman seems surprised to have been stopped. And although she's cooperating fully, officers will conduct a thorough check of all of her bags to ensure she's carrying nothing illegal.
When did you get the ticket?
I got the ticket sometime last week.
Yeah. Why did you only get the ticket last week?
Oh, because he sent me a cash from me.
Oh, he's paid for the trip for you?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
A swab test is conducted on the woman's belongings as the search continues through her cases. And a trace reading for cocaine deepens the intrigue. With nothing else found hidden in the woman's luggage, Officer Kevin wants to conduct an X-ray to see if she's carrying drugs inside her body.
What we've got is a body scanner. Okay?
Yeah, sure.
You don't mind going through that?
I don't mind at all.
No? If we do that, and hopefully you'll be able to get on your holiday.
Kevin approaches his superior to get approval for the body scan.
I'm just going to body scan her. Right. She's, I've run it past her and she's quite happy to do it. Okay. Just to make sure.
Yeah, so she's going to do it as a voluntary.
Yeah.
In just a few moments, officers will find out if they were right to be suspicious. Back at Gatwick's South Terminal, an investigation is underway into a woman who became seriously ill on a flight from Kingston. After claiming to have swallowed something to bring into the UK, the woman was immediately taken to hospital. In the terminal, team leader Chris goes through the contents of the woman's suitcase.
So we had a message from the Gatwick Airport, the airport operator's got like a control room that's manned 24 hours. The message we got was that she'd admitted to swallowing packages. She's now saying that she's not swallowed packages. So it may just be Chinese whispers, but also it needs to be investigated.
With nothing suspicious found in her suitcase, an ion track swab test is conducted for any traces of drugs.
And that's come up as a positive hit for cocaine. It's not saying she has come into contact with cocaine, it's just an indication that she may have.
The woman's circumstances are now even more alarming. Chris conducts an X-ray of her suitcase for any hidden concealments.
There's nothing in the bags from a customs point of view, other than the ion track indications, which does give us something else to think about. The next step now is to concentrate on the lady.
Officers head down to the local hospital to check on the progress of their suspected drug swallower.
When someone complains of stomach pains or anything like this, you know, as we said before, the medical assistance is the first priority, and if a medic dictates they go to the hospital, then they go to the hospital. From our point of view, we still have a responsibility, A, towards the passenger, to make sure there's no harm going to come to them, but B, we've got to safeguard any sort of illicit material they may be carrying.
3 UK border agency officers have been monitoring the woman's health at the hospital. When Chris arrives for an update, they're positive she hasn't swallowed any drugs. But nurses have made a shocking discovery.
Having spoken briefly to the nursing staff, it sounds like she may have been forced by her boyfriend to drink a liquid to try and induce a miscarriage because she's slightly pregnant. Again, that's only a vague story we've got, but nevertheless, because she's in our care, she's been detained by us, we'll need to explore that with her.
The woman was later discharged from hospital and was of no further interest to the border agency. In the airport's North Terminal, the female passenger from Trinidad is about to be body scanned to see if she has any drugs hidden inside her.
Okay, what you need to do is you need to stand on here like this, okay, with your hands by your side, all right? And then when the officer says, take a deep breath and hold it, and then this will move, and it will go through and then stop. Do you understand? Okay. Yeah, just go on there like that, yeah.
Sorry.
Go very slowly, you won't bang into the wall. Are you ready to go now?
Yeah.
That's great. Here we go. I can't see any regular shapes, Kevin, to be honest, in the areas we're looking at.
No, I don't think so.
We're happy that she doesn't have anything inside her, which is the main reason for using the body scan. There's a possibility that she might have a package inside her bra, which has been known in the past. The definitive thing is to actually do a search, which wasn't done before this body scan. So we'll do that, and then we'll find out exactly if there is anything there or if there isn't.
The woman is led back to a private interview room where the search will take place.
Just take a seat over there.
Okay, sure.
Okay, yeah. Okay, so what's going to happen is, okay, because we can't tell what it is, the female officer's going to search you, all right? Okay.
But it doesn't take long to find the cause of the abnormality on the scan.
You need to get a new bra, don't you?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It needs to be bigger. That's what the picture was. See?
Yeah, okay.
That's what the picture shows, you see.
Thank you very much again, once again.
The cause of the alarm is put down to the woman's bra.
All right, now I'm sure you had to go through that, all right?
Having completed both customs and immigration checks, she's free to continue her travels. In the following few weeks, Alex at Bristol Airport, holidaymakers have just returned home from Arrecife in Lanzarote. The Canary Islands are outside of the EU for tax purposes, and there are tight restrictions on duty-free goods coming into the country. Officers are using X-ray machines to find any bags that have exceeded these limits. 3 suitcases appear to be full of cigarettes, so officers wait in the baggage hall to see if the owners will declare the goods.
Looking at the Arrecife flight, which is non-EU, so there is an allowance, 200 cigarettes, 250 grams of tobacco per adult, and we'll see if anything transpires.
Officers believe that the cigarettes they found are likely to be sold illegally. They suspect the people carrying them may not be the only ones involved.
Oh, you take them, eh?
So instead of pulling them over, they'll be followed. 2 women appear with the suspect cases, and, as anticipated, they walk straight through the Nothing to Declare channel. Officers follow close behind, and once outside, the women are joined by a male accomplice. As the passengers load their bags into a waiting car, officers run to intercept them. A quick look in the first case shows it's full of cigarettes.
Okay, car keys? Sorry? Keys?
Yeah.
Thank you.
And as the other 2 cases are opened, they too are stuffed to the brim with cigarettes.
At the moment, these cigarettes are all seized, all right? You understand that? Confiscated? Okay. At the moment, this vehicle is also seized. We keep the vehicle. Do you understand that?
Why?
Because the cigarettes were in the vehicle.
I need my car.
Okay, well, you have to sort that out later, but at the moment it's seized, right?
I'm only driver. These people rental me. I need my car. What we're saying is you've used this vehicle to transport the goods. We saw them in the vehicle, and that's why it's seized.
What's inside the bag? What's inside?
Yeah.
Okay.
Do you have cigarettes in your bag?
All out inside.
Yeah.
They all go inside. Okay?
It may sound harsh, but the car will remain seized until they've got to the bottom of the suspected smuggling ring. At Gatwick Airport, flights arrive on a daily basis from the Caribbean. Officers use sniffer dogs to find traces of drugs being imported illegally from countries with strong links to the drugs trade. If the dog makes a positive indication, passengers are pulled aside in the customs channels so they can be searched further. One such passenger is a young male who's returning from a holiday with his girlfriend.
You packed everything yourself, yeah? Yeah. Does anybody ask you to carry any goods for a day? Okay. You have food in your bag?
No, I had this in my bag.
Sorry?
I had this in my bag, yeah. There's nothing in it, though. Just that price.
The man produces a small cannabis pipe, and officers suspect he's a drug user. The passengers open up about the drugs they've encountered as their suitcase is swabbed for any traces. Despite proclaiming their innocence, the results from the drug swab test are alarmingly high.
It's very, very high. We need to look at this a bit more, I think.
It's starting to get a little...
That's the one that the dog showed interest in as well.
He's starting to get a little angsty about it. Ask him if he's been using anything out there.
Yeah.
Just do another one in another area in the same sort of bag.
In the same bag?
Yeah.
So just... They're showing a very high reading for drugs at the moment. Have you... No, OK, I'm not saying you have. OK, but have you been smoking anything? Or
Well,
it's probably best to declare at this moment.
My mates do when I'm back at home, but I don't.
Yeah, you don't personally?
No, I
use
don't.
it?
No.
OK.
So did you try anything while you're out there?
No, I'm telling you, lie to you.
The bag is swabbed again in a different place to see if the readings are consistently high. This time, there's a small trace reading for cocaine and heroin.
Have you been through the bag at all?
Basic, so I haven't gone through every single item, as in really scrutinised it.
Yeah, I'll take him in for a rub down, see how you go.
Officers decide to take their search to the next level to see if he's got any drugs on his body. Back at Bristol, officers are busy emptying 3 suitcases filled entirely with cigarettes smuggled into the UK from Lanzarote. The passengers have been informed that the cigarettes and the vehicle being used to carry the cigarettes are being seized. The driver, who claims he's just collecting his friends and knows nothing of the suspected cigarette smuggling ring, is taken into a private room for questioning.
So who are these for?
This is mine.
For you? You smoke all of it?
Yes, I smoke.
Your friends smoke?
Yes.
Yeah.
But officers don't believe that this many cigarettes are for personal consumption only.
How many do you reckon we've got altogether, roughly? Please.
We've got to be talking 30, 40,000.
The passengers are questioned separately to try and establish more information about the suspected smuggling ring.
Yeah, but did you buy it? You bought it. Okay. Did you go? Did you go just to buy cigarettes?
No.
No.
Holiday,
For one day.
2 days.
2 days. One night. Yeah.
The one gentleman with the red jacket, he seems to be the money man in this organisation.
So you just carry the cigarettes for me?
Okay.
That's fine. I had to hand because I am a secret and you needed the money, so you did it for the money. Okay, it's all right.
I don't know where she buying, when.
You don't know who she's buying them for? No?
All of the passengers' stories seem to contradict each other.
He knew there was flags in those cases because when we went out and he couldn't say to us following him, he separated it to say, whoa.
Outside of the European Union, passengers are allowed to bring back a strict allowance of just 200 cigarettes.
Cigarettes are gone, okay? Seized.
You take it.
Yeah, if you are over your allowance, you're not allowed any of them. No. This tells you how you can appeal, but it's up to you whether you...
I'm not reading.
You're not reading it? No? Well, that's up to you.
The man's reluctance to read the appeal procedure reinforces officers' suspicions that the cigarettes were intended to be sold. Both men leave their supposed friends behind. They'll have to find an alternative way home, since their car remains seized.
From this particular time, the action is just limited to seizure, but if they're caught repeatedly, it might be a bit more serious next time.
The female passengers also leave the airport empty-handed. and the massive haul of 37,000 cigarettes will be sent for incineration. Back at Gatwick, officers investigating a male passenger whose suitcase has given a high reading for cocaine are about to take him for a rub-down search.
Okay, basically, as you can see, I just wanted to explain so you can see everything's being done above board. Basically, like I said, he's showing signs of drugs, but it doesn't mean to say you've got it. It's a very, very sensitive swab. Okay. The dog has also shown an indication in you.
Right.
Okay. So what we want to do now is to bring you in for a search. Okay. Which we have to carry on. Yeah. Okay.
The man is led to a private room where he admits he's been stopped before.
I got stopped on the way out as well. He stopped me for 10 minutes. Spoke to me, that was it.
Despite a thorough search, he's not found to be carrying any drugs. So officers try another check on his shoes. Meanwhile, the man's partner continues talking to officers and confesses that her boyfriend has been known to use drugs in the past. But no further traces of drugs are found from the shoes, and officers are happy he's not a smuggler.
Right, that's okay, yeah. Okay. Okay, do you like to say it's all done like that?
No, I ain't bothered.
Have you, just for my benefit, what you do is entirely up to you, but have you done a bit of gear, a bit of Charlie, anything like that?
No, I can't. No, I just had a medical about 3 months ago.
Right.
Back, so I can't.
Right, okay. He was rubbed down and searched. There was nothing on him of customs interest, nothing that would indicate any further drugs on his body or anything like that. He said he recently had a medical, which he said he doesn't use drugs at all. So from our point of view, we're quite happy for him to proceed.
The traces in the man's bag are put down to contamination, and the couple are free to leave. Coming up, one couple's behaviour leaves unanswered questions.
They're actually very, very nervous. There was a change in the booking of the tickets. He was unemployed, and how did he afford a holiday like that?
Coming up, one man in Birmingham with lots of cash is suspected of lying about his income.
Every week you get 200.
Every week 200.
Right, that's only 800 a month.
At Gatwick Airport, UK border agency officers are observing passengers who've just arrived from Kingston in Jamaica.
Just nice and slowly past the dog, please. Bags down off the shoulders.
As drug detection dogs assess the travellers, officers have been drawn to a couple who've been behaving suspiciously.
Thank you.
At the immigration desk, the woman in white is asked to remove her sunglasses for passport verification. Her partner in the red shirt at the desk next to her is allowed to proceed. Eventually, she too is allowed through. But Officer Chris has reasons to doubt they're legitimate travellers.
The fact they changed their date of return to come back by a week, to us they look quite nervous. Down at immigration they acted very sort of strange, they sort of try going the wrong exit.
The couple separate as they exit the baggage reclaim area. Typical behaviour of passengers with something to hide.
Two of you together? Yeah. Have got your passports and tickets. How long have you been out there for?
Oh, 17, 18 days.
Holiday? Well, back to work tomorrow now, is it, or what?
I wish. No, got made redundant last year. So.
Okay. What was you doing?
Building supplies.
Okay, and how about you?
I'm just stay-at-home mum.
A holiday in the Caribbean is an expensive outlay for a couple who aren't working. Suspicion grows that they could be hiding the real reason for their trip.
All right, you packed your own bags?
Yeah.
Okay. Nobody's given you anything to bring back at all, have they? Okay, let's have a quick look at your bags anyway.
But it seems the man doesn't want his case to be searched.
I don't think I've got the key in that one for us.
Oh, right, how come you've got the key?
Yeah.
If the keys aren't found by the time the other suitcase has been searched, the padlock will be forcibly removed.
Not that good.
A small trace of cocaine is detected from the first suitcase. So Officer Pete decides to remove the padlock from the other one. Surprisingly, it's almost empty.
I'm just going to x-ray this bag, okay?
He just looks nervous.
This is so light. They're acting so nervous.
The bag is checked for any hidden concealments.
Doesn't look that promising either, does it?
There's nothing in the bag that we can find, but the things like they didn't have the lock for their padlock was a bit unusual. The fact where they've come from as well just gives us grounds to go to the next sort of level of the search.
With no concrete evidence found on the couple so far, for now, their story remains a mystery. At Birmingham Airport, a number of flights are about to depart for destinations around the world. Officers are monitoring passengers in departure lounges and checking for large quantities of cash. Passengers leaving the country must declare any quantity of cash over 10,000 euros, and officers are interested in questioning passengers carrying anything over 1,000 euros. Large quantities of cash leaving the country is often linked to organised crime, so sniffer dogs are deployed to make initial detections on passengers.
How long are you going to China for?
About a week.
About a week.
See my granddad.
One passenger travelling to China has been pulled over for questioning after confessing to carrying a few £1,000s.
So it's just a pleasure trip, it's not a business trip?
Sorry?
It's not a business trip, it's just pleasure?
No.
Yeah. Why are you taking £3,000 for the week?
You know, my granddad's ill, to die.
Oh, I'm sorry to hear that. Right, okay. How much money have you put in the suitcases on the airplane?
I think it's a few hundred.
A few hundred, okay.
With more cash in his checked-in suitcase, the officer asks to have this removed from the flight so it can also be checked.
I need the bags off for this guy. So, how much do you earn a month?
How much a month?
Yeah.
Let me check it.
You must know.
2,000 exactly, I think it's
2,000 exactly.
About 2,500. Also, I ran the business for somebody.
So you rent a business for somebody, so you have an additional income that way?
Yeah. I've got a 2 limit here.
Yeah. We're asking now specifically about your rental income.
Rental income?
Yeah, you said you had rental income as well.
I can't say exactly because I got the accounting.
So if you're providing the accountant the figures, you would know how much you were earning?
Every month I got 200.
You get 200?
Yeah,
I thought you said 2,500.
Sorry, every week, sorry.
Every week you get 200?
200.
Right, that's only 800 a month.
The man seems to be confused about his finances.
Just stay with your money just now, sir. I'm going to make some calls and check something. I'll be right back to you, okay? Just watch your money.
The officer suspects that deliberately or otherwise, he may not be paying his taxes. Back at Gatwick, officers are continuing to investigate a couple who've been acting nervously since arriving back in the UK from Jamaica.
How did you finance the trip?
I'd say
This remains doubtful given neither of the couple currently work.
this is our reward for putting through this year.
Right, okay.
The questioning starts to make the man defensive.
Yeah, it's an expensive trip for somebody who's not working, okay? Unfortunately, I understand that.
But it's not just here the couple have aroused suspicion.
It's quite ironic actually. We've had this treatment both ends so far.
All right.
Don't know why we almost missed the flight.
Okay. I'm afraid I will have to ask for rub-down searches on both of you anyway, okay?
Now we're going to go to the search of person. If we don't find anything in there, we find sort of additional factors from the search, we'll think again about what we're going to do.
Both passengers are taken to separate rooms and searched individually to see if they're carrying any drugs on their bodies.
I'm just trying to see if there's any traces in the shoes to establish if she's a swimmer.
If passengers are carrying drugs internally, traces are often excreted through the sweat glands in feet.
That seems okay, the green colour.
The woman's shoes come back clear. With no hard evidence found on her, she's released to await the outcome of her partner.
Just going to pat you down, basically. Okay. Let's see you hold your feet there as well. I think we're just about done.
Surprisingly, nothing is found on the male passenger either. Despite their erratic behavior and very unusual story, the couple are free to go.
They're actually very, very nervous. They were marching up and down left, right and centre. There was a change in the booking of the tickets. He was unemployed, and how did he afford a holiday like that with no job?
Although their conduct still remains suspicious, Officer Pete has no option but to accept their version of events.
Don't know what it was about, but as he said, it was a holiday to celebrate being unemployed, and that was it.
In Birmingham, officers are investigating a suspected tax evader who's trying to take more than £3,000 in cash out to China.
I'll just tell you what's happening just now, sir. Because you've got more than £1,000 in cash, customs investigate the source of the cash. Now, as long as your money comes from a legitimate source, the money will be returned to you. Now, just let me finish, right? The officer's going back to do some checks just now with the tax office to see how much you've declared over the last 3 years. So, in your suitcase downstairs, we're bringing that up just now. How much do you think you've got in there? Be honest with me.
300 to 500.
Is that all you've got in there? Right, okay.
The man's checked-in suitcase has been retrieved. Officers will exhaust every avenue to check his story.
Did you pack this bag yourself, sir? Did you pack everything in the bag? Does it belong to you?
Yes.
Are you carrying anything for anybody else today? No.
More checks are conducted to confirm how much income tax the man has paid from his restaurant business.
I'm going to go in and check what his earnings are, okay?
With just minutes before the man's flight is due to depart, officers will have to make a very quick decision about whether to let the man leave the country with his cash.
You told me you were a director of a limited company?
Yeah, two limited.
Yeah, and you say you earn £2,500 roughly a month?
Paid electricity £6.
Once again, the officer works out the passenger's outgoings, but they don't seem to tally with what he's declared to the tax office.
We've got you declared your total income of 16,334.
16,000?
Yeah. Now, if you're saying you only earn £16,000 a year, you told me you get paid at least £800 a month from the other restaurant, okay? So that's going to take you right up to 22 grand right away.
You do your own bit.
It seems there's a big discrepancy with the man's finances. If he's to catch his flight, there's no time to argue.
Yeah, mate, what's going on with this? We need to make a decision ASAP.
Stand by.
The man gets a lucky escape.
What I'm going to do just now, sir, is I'm going to let you travel today because your flight's leaving imminently and I don't have time to do the additional checks I need to do. So I'm going to let you fly today, but I'm going to put a referral into the tax office because I believe you're not declaring the income. Put your stuff back in the case and fly today, sir, right? Okay? And that's it, finished today, okay?
Thank you.
No problem.
The man is fortunate to be allowed to leave the country with his cash, but he's likely to be in trouble with the tax office when he returns.